Welcome to Stalwarts of Transformation. Today, among the stalwarts, we have a gentleman who has been in the industry for the last 37 to 38 years. He has been the force of handling up and forming a big security agency in India. An electrical engineer by profession who passed out 37 years back and who's an entrepreneur as of now. Today, welcome to the show, Mr. Anil Dhawan, the Managing Director of DBSS Secure Solutions. Welcome to the show, Mr. Dhawan.
Thank you. It's a privilege.
You've had a varied experience of things in security, in technology. So, how did you actually get into this field? आपका इस फील्ड में आना कैसे हुआ? मतलब इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर से आप सिक्योरिटी में?
Well, it happened, I would say, more, as you say, no doubt as a destiny, but definitely as a privilege. I passed out from University of Mysore in the year 1984 as an electrical engineer, gold medalist. And anyone in my position would have looked more from a point to be going in for something very specific into electrical technology. Interestingly, in those days, the security technology was hardly visible anywhere. It was more manpower related. And I had the opportunity to be given a chance with one of the foreign-based companies who happened to be very strong into technology, and they wanted me to come overseas to UK and get trained. Company called Modern Alarms of Automated Security Holdings. So I looked at those days going abroad and getting trained at that age was a privilege. So I was quite excited and I took the challenge and went for my training. And after the training, I enjoyed it more from a point because what I learned was very new into the country. So while interacting with prospective clients, I could not only explain them, but I could convince and enjoy their appreciation from a point of view that what all new is there. So that's how it started with going into security. But from there on, then I moved on, and terrorism was at its peak. I don't say because I consider that as a privilege, but that's the fact. And lot was happening, and in terms of solutions and mitigations for risk around. And one such thing was a big multinational, which you all know by the name. Those days it was Group 4 Securitas, starting in India. And
so that was which year exactly?
This was in the year 1984 is where I started with Modern Alarms, and with Group 4 I got the chance in 1986.
So with Group 4, you have worked with the names like David Hudson, and your teammates are still there in the security field. So what were your learnings actually at Group 4? Because the positions that you held, one vertical, you were looking after it.
Yeah.
And I know of that particular vertical because I have seen it grow leaps and bounds. So what was your experience from a leadership point of view? And you could just tell us something on that?
I think the best part of it was that it was a company starting from zero. So you go and join a company which does not exist. And I'll be very frank, in those days, this name itself was very funny, Group 4.
So didn't you have butterflies in your stomach when you joined that?
In fact, all my well-wishers used to ask me to thoroughly check because nobody imagined that such a name.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew about that company so much. The fact was it was one of the biggest companies in the world. And The other interesting thing was it happened to be a company in the same group where I was coming from, Modern Alarms and Ashram. So that was another thing for the boards to speak and ask for the permission, which they did it. My getting involved with them and starting helped me up to grow along with the organization, and that I felt was quite a good drive for me, success for me to where I am later on went into my career, and I enjoyed and all across the country we used to get a lot of requirements because the name was very strong, and I happened to be their first employee. So, most of these I used to visit them, whether they were Tata's, Birla's, Reliance, and major base installations. So, at that young age and into this field without security background of myself, on one side I was very conscious about it that I don't make mistake, but on the other side I was enjoying it because the solutions I used to come out with, of course, with my seniors, were appreciated. And part of this was my extensive training at Group 4 headquarters, which is also known for training of senior IPS officers, which are sent from Government of India. In fact, in my batch, I had few of them. So that gave me the clear understanding about security concept and how to promote it.
I've been reading about you and the type of projects that you were able to bag when you were in Group 4. It reminds me of the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, DMRC. I know that in our candid conversations, you did tell me something about it. But let the audience today, understand and what lessons they could learn out of your experiences with DMRC.
I would start by saying that the Delhi Metro project was a kind of a turning point also for me in my career, in the sense that we are talking of a very big project in itself, and that too about security. And the culture had been that such projects which are government driven, one never looks from the point of view of private security getting involved. But interestingly, Delhi Metro, they were clear they wanted to look. They were open to both, and they were open to private security. So that's how it started. That the head of security, the Metro man, Mr. Shri Dhawan.
You had a series of meetings, I think, with this gentleman before you really concluded it.
Yes, because we had to understand what exactly they are looking, and what he was very good, and his team was very good. His head of security, chief of security, what they called, very senior IPS officer, and I believe she was the first IPS officer from state of Haryana.
Okay.
Deepa Mehta. They were clear about that. What they knew that Delhi Metro was a kind of a very big soft target risk, and they wanted that to ensure that they bring in technology. And from probably more from the technology point of view, they were looking for company which had this kind of solution they give. Now, although we knew the solutions, but the biggest challenge was that we had not done any such project
with the government.
In the government and also with the metro kind of culture.
Okay.
And their first requirement was that they wanted that.
So, did you study the London Tube or something before you presented your presentations to the DMRC?
I would say, you see, in Group 4, we had an international resource center which was based in UK.
Yeah.
So, we were in touch with them, and they were very excited as we were with this project, and they wanted to get involved. We thought that we will bring in when the right time is there.
True.
Because our management was very right. We wanted to first have a feel that how much do we qualify ourselves into it. So for that purpose, we studied instead of straight away going in overseas projects, because this particular project, Delhi Metro, was more similar to what was in Hong Kong. So they were looking more from the point of experience of that. So we put up a kind of a very specific kind of a plan to convince them. And that was very interesting in the sense we took the permission to study their one of their stations, how they are designing it, how it's going to work, and we tried to identify that what risk would go in. And that permission, interestingly, we got, which very few people will get. We got that permission to share the drawings and everything. And then what we did was we came out with kind of a presentation, which was to simulate the whole situation from a point of what kind of risk could happen practically on such a place, and then in that each of those situations, how would the mitigation would happen. So suppose we are talking of CCTV, then when and where CCTV would work in. So it worked out very well, and we created a kind of a character which would go into the station doing all sorts of risk related aspects, and correspondingly outlier. So this kind of plan itself was something which was very convincing. But practically, when we put it in the form of a presentation by projecting it, the team, the management was very happy.
So you simulated certain situations, like you were saying that you put somebody doing something wrong.
Yeah, first of all, I must admit, and I say this with full proudness, that I had a team with me, which I'm very proud of. So what we did was we simulated this by way of animations, because these stations had not come in.
Yeah.
So all we had was drawings. Yeah. So we basically animated each one of these and created these in the form of images, sound effects, and everything. So it looked very practical. For example, take the example, somebody comes, this character walks into a station without buying a ticket. Mm-hmm. So, how do you track them? Mm. What alarms come in? Mm. Right up to the extent of then, access control into areas where they are not supposed to go in. So that sort of concept we took and made the presentation. And interestingly, when we explained this without having worked on it, we were looked at from the point of that, can such a thing be really done in the form of a presentation?
That's interesting. Why I'm saying is that is where your leadership counts, as to what type of leadership qualities you put in, so that you anticipated. You anticipated a lot of things. You simulated a lot of things. That is a very interesting point, actually, friends, that Mr. Dhawan has put into it. So he has seen the leadership from top, and he has acted on those simulations. So that's a credit that goes to you, Mr. Dhawan, actually. And but one more thing, I've heard that that there used to be a number of clocks in the hallway or the gangway or the workstations where you walked in. I want to hear something on that, because there's something interesting which nobody has ever heard probably.
Well, after we being awarded with this contract, we became part of the Delhi Metro team. Yeah. In the sense that we had three of our staff members permanently based over there.
Okay.
So we would have weekly meetings and reviews, and I, being heading the team, would visit them. When first time I walked into the Delhi Metro office, as you expressed, the corridors I will walk in and I will see there is a clock. But instead of the clock having the usual 1 to 12 digits, it had digits which were much higher. So you will have 10, 20, 40 like this.
Okay.
And every time I felt about, what exactly is this? Now, initially, I felt a little shy in asking, because it will just show, why I'm doing that. But as I became very, familiar with and became friendly, staff, yeah. I asked with the staff, and when they explained me, I was very impressed. This clock was done, and it was the brainchild of Shri Dhawan sir, and that is that it actually was projecting the number of days. The project was now day by day reaching to its completion. So idea was this, that every staff, irrespective of which department the person is from the metro, would start reading it first thing in the morning. That now I have got 300 days, now I've got 299 days, I've got 288 days. So that was a big motivation for everybody, and I think the results.
That was fantastic, yeah. Actually, that's really fantastic. So could you explain as to how you overcame those challenges, whether it was the DMRC, whether it was the embassy, or it was the other projects that were happening around?
See, I appreciate your acknowledging it by saying it's a leadership quality. I definitely feel happy on it, but this only comes when you have a team.
True.
And I had a team along with my wind, and we were very strongly bonded. That we were able to do. Very happy to hear that. You asked me about the challenges, because generally such interactions go only one way.
True.
We had many challenges. For me, the one of the biggest challenge, I must admit, was this, that I didn't come from a security background. Most people, you will laugh, in our interaction when you start hearing about about the company, and then we starting the project and discussing, ask me, so do you come from army, air force, or navy? So although the question, the statement didn't look from a point of, they wanted to know where I come from, any of these, but it looked was they wanted to know, do I really come from security background? No.
Yeah.
So then by initially, but I don't know, it all develops, because by that, that confidence of strong background with my group 4 and so much knowledge behind standing, it never bothered me, and I always spoke. And one of the strongest point was the commitments which I learned from my boss. So we were very strong on our commitments. Whatever we said, we will go and do it. One of them I still remember was, we were asked to do a security audit for a complete town of Tata's, Jamshedpur. You can imagine a town audit, what size it would be, and that to Jamshedpur.
Must have been colossal, actually, knowing Jamshedpur on the map. It's a township by itself.
Yes, it was like that, but then it was more from a point of a growing company, wherein the bosses, while playing golf, you know how that is, that our chairman asked the Tata head, those days Rusi Modi was there, why don't you get field audited? And he immediately said, yeah, oh, can you do it? We said, yeah. And here we were asked to go in. And so we had experts coming from UK, but then we knew how to do it. So very methodically we went in and we did.
I remember one incident where, when we were speaking long time back, where you told me that one of the officers of Group 4, he put something in his pocket just to emphasize and show that where are the breaches in that particular security system.
Firstly, I must appreciate you are so well prepared on, and you picked up those points, and I don't mind explaining them.
No, these are all learnings actually for us, actually, how we need to.
See, again, here there was a team, and one of the team members, he was a paratrooper, Colonel K.C. Goswami, very person who was very much on ground, hands-on. So this exercise took a lot of time. I think for the guarding division, it took almost a couple of months. So as I said, he was on the ground and a hands-on man. He just didn't limit understanding a particular kind of a facility in Jamshedpur. Let's say we are talking of Tata Steel. So just from a point asking the drawings and interacting and understanding what is your risk, he said, I will get disguised as a kind of intruder, and one of the nights I would go inside there, and that way I will practically see where. So when we used to do these plannings, and he said this, we used to get worried. But I think that was kind of quality and strength in the team, and which later on even Tata management appreciated.
आपने कुछ ऐसे भी लीडरशिप पोजीशंस हासिल किए हैं एसोसिएशंस के. अब मैं जिस एसोसिएशन के बारे में बात करूंगा, और आप उसके पास प्रेसिडेंट भी रहे और आपको बेस्ट प्रेसिडेंट उसमें रहे हैं. आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ एस्पा एक्चुअली. आप तो फाउंडर मेंबर रहे हैं, यू बॉट एस्पा इनटू इंडिया, तो आपकी क्या भूमिका रही उसमें?
See, it's basically वो है APSA, Asian Professional Security Association, and मैं फाउंडर मेंबर नहीं था, बट मैं उसमें शुरू से ही इन्वॉल्व रहा. और वो वन ऑफ दी, शायद कहना गलत नहीं होगा, वन ऑफ दी ओल्डेस्ट एसोसिएशन इस इंडस्ट्री की रही है। तो इस तरह के जब मेरे स्प्रेड हो गए तो ऑब्वियसली एसोसिएशंस में भी इन्वॉल्वमेंट मेरी काफ़ी लोग जो थे उन्होंने देखा और उन्होंने मुझे इनवाइट किया, एंड दैट्स हाउ आई वेंट इनटू एप्सा, जो कि जिसके बहुत ही स्ट्रांग फाउंडर मेंबर्स थे रहे, और उन्होंने बहुत ही स्ट्रांग उसकी जो है मेमोरेंडम्स को डिफाइन किया, और प्रॉपर इलेक्शन से फिर मैं उसको इलेक्ट होके एप्सा इंडिया चैप्टर में आया। बट वो एज ए एसोसिएशन जो था वो पूरे एंटायर एशिया में था। सो जो आपने टाइटल अभी जो एक्सप्रेस किया, बेस्ट प्रेसिडेंट का अवार्ड मुझे जो पूरे एशिया में जो एसोसिएशंस जितनी थी उसमें, और वो एक बार नहीं 2 बार मिला, पर अगेन वो एक टीम का काम था, क्योंकि हम भले ही ग्रुप 4 में और हमारे प्लेट फुल रहती थी काम से, बट हम एसोसिएशन के लिए भी पूरा काम करते थे।
आपकी लीडरशिप की क्वालिटीज यहीं पे नहीं रुकते, क्योंकि एप्सा में किया आप, you've been able to get IFSEC also into India, which was probably one of the most fantastic things, and was a breakthrough to have, IFSEC being conducted in India on the Indian soil. So your thoughts on that?
IFSEC उस वक्त में मेरे ख्याल से, आज भी ये कहना गलत नहीं होगा, वर्ल्ड की सबसे बड़ी सिक्योरिटी एग्जीबिशन है, इंटरनेशनल फायर एंड सिक्योरिटी एग्जीबिशन। इसका बैकग्राउंड ये है कि दिस एग्जीबिशन used to only happen in UK, because it belonged to the management came from UK, and that too only in Birmingham in NEC. I think for 32 years it happened there. And people like us who were in the field of security, and that too in technology, हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा privilege होता था to go to UK and see this exhibition. I was that way blessed that in group 4 it was a culture always, to be totally up, knowledgeable on what's happening across. So मैं रेगुलरली वहाँ जाया करता था, बट एज ए विजिटर जाता था, और ग्रुप 4 होने के नाते जो इंटरेस्ट होता था वो देख के आ जाता था। इंटरेस्टिंगली, जब मैं एप्सा इंडिया चैप्टर का प्रेसिडेंट, व्हेन आई बिकेम द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ एप्सा इंडिया चैप्टर, आई केम टू नो दैट IFSEC management was in town, and they wanted to meet me, and nothing more that I knew about. So because of my kind of likeness and what I enjoyed visiting, I went to see them. And then I came to know that their visit to India was basically to explore if they can set up IFSEC India here. And for that, they had a list of so many questions to understand how the business is. And I, and along with me, my colleague, General Secretary and Vice President, we went to meet them, and we answered their questions. All they said to us was to come and meet them again back in the evening for a dinner at Moray Sheraton. And we felt that was more out of gratitude, they wanted to do it. But they disclosed that they would like to sign an agreement with APSA India and start the exhibition in India. And the best part, I must add here, is they had 2 countries in mind. One was India and China. And they felt they decided to. Today, if I recollect correctly, it's now 17 or 18 years since this exhibition has been happening.
And back to back, it is happening in India.
It is happening every year. It's growing day by day. And I think it's not wrong to, it's one of the best platforms.
That's a feather in your cap to get IFSEC into India. आप CAPSU के member भी हो, founding members, not one of the founding members, but I'll say that those members who have been initially associated with CAPSU, and you've been a part of you're heading the technical committee in CAPSU. So just to understand and make the viewers also know, how do you feel as a part of the technical committee? What are the things that you have done, and what could you also foresee and do better?
Let me put it this way. Well, being so involved, being in Group 4 and doing so many projects of all different types, I got attached with each and every association in one form or the other, which is OSAC, Overseas Security Advisory Council, where I was part of the founder members. CAPSU, what you said about. APSA, we just spoke about. ACES, I was not a member, but I had been a speaker in ACES. And besides this, most of the Chamber of Commerce, SOCHAM, CII, FICCI, I have been a very active member, and in SOCHAM, I was the head of Homeland Security Committee. The reason I tried to take you all through is to answer your question. I will honestly admit this, that among all of them, it's not that I'm trying to compare directly and say, which is better. I think each one of them has its role in doing, but what CAPSU I've seen is one thing very special, and is that CAPSU is very open. Firstly, I would say, from a point of identifying and picking up the professionals, and without kind of putting any conditions that they become a member, they pay a fees. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
And once you get involved with them, then they start and seeing the talent, and probably in that they, with my experience, the chairman, whom I'm very grateful, Kunwar Vikram Singh ji, gave me the opportunity to head the technical committee. And it was not easy, because guarding is where actually CAPSU was known into, and the guarding companies. But my role is to bring in technology companies, which we are doing. So
तो ये जो कैप्सी के आप टेक्निकल कमेटी के हेड है, और उसके बाद कुछ ऐसे क्षण भी आए जहाँ पे आप एक टास्क फोर्स लीडर के समान, आपको you had the opportunity to become a task force leader for one of the most important task forces, which is the drone warriors. आपके क्या विचार है, और आप क्या सोचते हैं, और आपकी भूमिका क्या रहेगी, और आगे की सोच क्या है आपकी?
See, again, I would say this has two aspects. Your question has two aspects to be acknowledged as answer. One of them is that drones, we all know where today drones stands in terms of the future. If I may use a very small word, future. We know what's happening around. Even a kid, he doesn't know practically what a drone, but he knows the word drone. So drone is
in fact, it has become very synonymous after Operation Sindhu.
You're right. So drones is kind of a future. And as I said earlier, that CAPSU's outlook is much different to one would see anywhere else. So they picked up also on drones, and they wanted to look at it, what they could contribute to the private security industry from the point of drones. And one of the things came in is an amazing, again, thought and a plan. And that is, why not we look from a point of training the guards from the point of becoming the drone pilots, and start giving it to the industry. Because the industry is today very short of pilots. Anything around 1 lakh, you would be amazed, is the statistics which we know is short. So you can imagine what sort, and then these are like kind of employments. And chairman, as we have seen in most of the aspects, he was very quick in picking up this as something where you have both the supply and also the demand existing on the same platform of PSI. So he decided, why don't we look, and he discussed with me and other important senior people. It came out, yes, we should take up. So he constituted a committee which was called the Drone Warriors, and gave me the responsibility, I would say, to lead them as a team leader when we start working on it. So we've started working on it. The progress is very good, involving, we also met the Director General Civil Aviation, and he was very impressed. So we are now looking at how, in a planned way, can we do, wherein we start training the guards. So guards have this problem of always being not seeing a kind of a growth feature. So for them, it is a growth when they become a pilot, and they easily qualify because there's nothing much. So that's where my role is.
So basically, what you're saying is that the upskilling of a private security guard as a drone pilot. So what will happen is probably his remuneration will go up from probably an unskilled or a semi-skilled to a highly skilled guy. So he will definitely benefit out of that. Also, the Prime Minister's vision of having 1 lakh. So, but I heard that the Drone Warriors Task Force is targeting 2 lakh drone warriors with opening up of RPTOs. What do you have to say on that?
Yes, you are right. 1 lakh, I said more from a point of what is the existing, all these big audit companies have come out with the figures. But you may say again, it's the kind of leadership need, not as much of me, of the chairman, from a point that we want to keep our target much more than 1 lakh. So we are looking at 2 lakh. But having said that, I must also explain to you, we are looking at the drone Didi, which is the government of India, the Prime Minister's plans.
That's a basic plan.
Yeah. The other thing which is coming out, but from your expression, but I must highlight, it is just not the remuneration, what I said, and the skill. Yes, no doubt they are there, but we must not forget that these guards come from a security background. So even if it is basic and fundamental background of security. So when they go in for drone training, they would be more effective when it comes to drones application into security, which is a big area in itself. So they will be able to know, where to fly and what to do and get the commands correctly.
So in fact, you correct me if I'm wrong, you could also say that some could become entrepreneurs at some point of time during their career. Some could get into maintaining of drones, because that is also an area probably which I think is still undiscovered, or it is less discovered. What would you have to say on that?
So you have been, I would say, you are a bit kind of balanced in saying that where the requirement is. The fact is, the requirement is so big today, if I may say very bluntly, but we don't have the drones and the pilots. So when it comes to these guards going and doing it, it will meet those requirements in a very effective way and be able to give a solution. And yes, in giving that solution, if some of them becomes entrepreneurs or they go and do it, the requirement is so big, it will not affect the plan what we have.
Absolutely.
So the CAPSU's outlook is basically to help the society in the field of security. CAPSU will not get bothered if few of them in fact, will feel very happy if they become entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Well, they will open then more requirement of drone pilots.
True.
So in totality, that requirements will become big.
Since we were talking of entrepreneurship, I think I must mention. In fact, I did previously also mention that you are heading an organization, which you started yourself. So what spark ignited you to get into this entrepreneurship business?
Well, today, to answer this question, I won't feel shy, because today I think, touchwood, it's 13 years now when I started this company. So my age is around 63. So you can imagine, I started when most people are looking from a point of, I won't say hanging their shoes, but they have done it. But I started at that time. And I knew what I'm doing. Big challenge. And I think it all happened because I carried inside me a hidden confidence, which I realized today. And that hidden confidence was the experience I carried with me in terms of, most technology-oriented solutions, having a reasonably good knowledge of it. And then from there on, knowing the project side of it, the operation side of it. So from then on, I started building up And as everybody does with first employee, second employee, today we have around 65 employees, and we do projects for all sorts of customers, whether they are government, semi-government, public undertakings, corporates, all sorts of it. So that gives me another confidence. What we exactly do is we take advanced technology in the sense that I'll give you an example. For example, we are into CCTV. We do basic CCTV, but our focus is more on advanced technology in terms, one of them is face recognition. We have the privilege to be the one of the first in bringing this technology of face recognition, not the ordinary one, but something which is in the mass crowd we are talking about, which is not easy. And I don't mind sharing with you that projects like Delhi Metro, projects like Punjab Police, where this Kisan rally
Andolan.
aspect had happened, and that identification was done. Then Ardh Kumbh, then IPL had major problems, and then Aero City. So the reason I expressed was just to show that these are organizations or projects where the risk factor, no doubt, is there, but their solution will only be taken when the customer finds them convincing, and we were able to do. So that gave us a big boost in our company, and we stand that way, enjoy reasonably good branding today, which I am building up further to take it. So this is Mr. Anil Dhawan's legacy, which he is carrying on. What is your message to the younger people, younger generation, younger people who are either trying to get into security or security type technology, whatever it is? Well, no doubt you should pick up this field from a point of view, firstly, from how interesting you see. My experience is a practical example that I don't come from security background, and I enjoy doing it. When you do, and this is true for any business, one of the things you need to see, and I see this very consciously, is there are no shortcuts to the success. So you may take time, and you may often feel about it, are you really achieving or progressing it? But actually you are doing that. It's all hidden. And when you reach to a stage and your results start, I never thought I will be getting the chance to meet Shri Dhawan Saab and sign a contract with Delhi Metro. I never thought I will be involved in the security of Queen of England, and I got the chance. I never thought I would be asked to be part of bidding for US Embassy, Afghanistan. So sorry, I'm taking this name only to give you the confidence, not to impress you. It was all there, no doubt, what the elders say. In my luck, but the hard work helps. So you should look from that point of view. And the other aspect is this industry has big opportunity. And the future is turning into more and more requirements coming in. Drone is one of them. So this is how I would say. In fact, you've let the cat out of the bag. I was keeping this question towards the end, and you you left it out in terms of your. मैं क्या कह सकते हैं, आपकी मुलाकात जो है जब क्वीन ऑफ इंग्लैंड के साथ हुई थी, तो आपको कैसे लगा, आपकी फीलिंग क्या थी, और उसका आई मीन इट्स सच अ बिग थिंग. No doubt, thank you. But again, my favorite word is privilege, and I use this only from a point of, in your attitude, if you have one thing, is that what you achieve, you always feel from a point of, getting the opportunity rather not your right. So I use this word. But yes, coming back to your point, it was never expected. Most people know who are from the field of security that even to be in an area where the Queen is not allowed by the British government. True. So I had this chance because my boss, who is my guru also, actually took special permission from the British government for this, and obviously my backgrounds and things were checked, and I was involved from the point of whatever we were doing, the technology aspects I handled. So this is how it happened, and I feel enjoy. I have those photographs so many a times. I, look at them, and I feel happy about it.
Mr. Dhawan, you've been working for the last 37, 38 years. How do you manage your work-life balance?
The simple question is, it has gone into my mind and blood. It's kind of what you say in Deshi language, nasha, and I think I enjoy doing that. I can't say more than that. The most worried people for this is my wife, my
Obviously.
family, and the funniest part is my bankers. My bankers knows my success, but they always just insist, can you take somebody younger on your board? When I look at them, they only feel from the point that they want. So it has been like that. And
No, but I mean, it's a phenomenal rise that you had, and today you're running something big business also. I won't go into the numbers because people should not know that. That's something which they can always find out. But what is your success mantra?
I would say, firstly, from a point that there was nothing from a point pre-thought. It's all when you start growing, you start realizing. I don't know if this has been a question because you will again say, but I must say I had also my role models in my life, and I think I don't mind sharing them because I feel proud about
In
that.
fact, I was going to come to that anyway. Since you mentioned role models, yeah, Guru, yeah. If
So
you would just tell us something about
I look my role models more than one. I look from what we as youngsters look in the history. So one of them was Subhash Chandra Bose.
it. Okay.
I was very impressed with. Then my role model in the current tense was Padam Shri D.R. Karthikeyan,
Okay.
who had been the chief of IB and CBI Human Rights Commission, and I had the chance of working very closely with him, watching him and learning him. Amazing personality. Besides this, I would say my guru was David I. Hudson, who was heading, I don't know how many people know, but he was not only heading Group 4 India, he was managing director of Group 4 32 countries.
Yeah.
And each of those countries, he started the business. You can imagine the growth. And I worked directly under him. When the organization grew, obviously, then you have a team. But I started, that's how, with him. So from all this, the guru mantra that I can only share was hard work and commitment. And in those, it's very easy to say that commitment. Many a time you get backstage, or you get kind of put, something which you cannot able to face. But let that come, let that put you a little disappointment, but never change. I think the person on the other side, which is generally your customer, I have come across, will still appreciate that if you accept that what you did was wrong, you should have done the other way. They appreciate your admittance and they look at from a commitment point of view. So this is how I've been doing it, and I call it as my guru mantra. If you put in your a typical Hindi style, I have always written this in my office, which says, "Hum honge kamyab ek din."
Wonderful. That's a very pertinent phrase, I should say, which everybody should follow. Hum honge kamyab. I mean, you have been working, but you would have some sort of a passion, something that you enjoy, something where you'd like to spend some time on. We haven't heard anything on that of Mr. Dhawan so far.
Well, I'm a human being. I also, but yes, because the question doesn't allow me to go back and say it's the work which I have enjoyed, because he's drawn a line over there and said besides that. Well, besides that, it's been meeting people, music, and adventures, which whenever I get a chance, I try and do that. And in this age now, certainly, if time doesn't allow, I have tried to draw a line and I don't mind saying these days my best friend is my doctor. I wish I will share this interview when I get with him. And one of the things he tells me and my wife is change your lifestyle. And I felt he's telling me to leave the business. He says, no, just change the lifestyle, because he asked me the number of hours I work. So
He must be telling you, ki, don't get yourself too much stressed up or something.
Yes, but instead of using that word, he started asking me in what position I am. So I probably shared one of the project I have recently been picked up and awarded in Shillong. And he said, great. All you do is book your tickets, because you are not gone there, your team is there. Book your tickets, go to Shillong. And she looked at my wife and said, go with him. And make sure he only attends the project one day. Next 3 days, you go and go around. So by this, all he meant was what you have just said. The lifestyle changing in this way. And I took the word and I'm doing it.
That's very great. That you enjoy, besides what else things in life, I mean, besides your work, like what I previously said, I'm coming back to the same thing. Do you enjoy watching movies?
Yes.
Okay. So could you tell us, I mean, one odd movie which you really liked enjoying in the past few 15, 20 days?
Well, there are many, I would say, but I think everyone has his own liking.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite, and which even goes in my working style, is China Gate.
China Gate.
I don't know how many people would know, but China Gate is a real story, and it shows how the team, which was given this
task of
and they
defending
and they were then seen as defeated, but because they were real true soldiers, they were not happy, and one day comes when they have a chance, even though they were too old, they went back and they did something for the society, which I feel they did exactly in the form they were originally soldiers. So China Gate, I love it. And I did, if you don't mind,
please.
telling you, I can't do China Gate because China Gate is a different from a point of army background, but something similar I did was last couple of years back, I went back to all my team in Group 4, with whom I feel very proud, each one of them. And I send them mails, letters, and say, can we all get together? And they all came to my place, and we talked so many things. And they were welcomed with one signage, which they felt so happy, and it's still in my house. And that signage says, welcome G4S. Whatever I am today is because of you. So, amazing it was. And it gives me a lot of satisfaction.
So, Anil ji ka mantra hai, hum honge kamyab. Today, this episode is basically on Anil's journey as a stalwart and how he was able to progress in his life with his leadership and with the challenges he faced and how he overcame those challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this episode. और हम फिर मिलेंगे एक नए एपिसोड के साथ, एक नए स्टॉलवर्ट के साथ. थैंक यू वेरी मच.